Merry Vlogmas, everybody. It's your girl T, and I am back today surviving the first week of Vlogmas. If you've been watching all week, you know that each day kind of has its own little tagline or name that I've come up with. And this is the first 4C Friday. Sidebar, I high-key hate the hair typing system and find it to be not all that helpful and basically a glorified version of the brown paper bag test, but here we are. It's good for my SEO. So hooray for 4C Friday. Anyway, this 4C Friday is going to be the first of a series that I will probably continue to do beyond Vlogmas called Buy It or DIY It, wherein I will compare a mass-produced product that claims to do something versus a homemade version. To which today I am comparing detanglers. Not too long ago, I did a collective haul where I shared a bunch of stuff that I bought over the past 4, 5, 6 months or so, and that included a few hair products, one of which was the Devacurl Wash Day Wonder. It is a pre-cleanse slip detangler. This is a 12-ounce bottle, and Devacurl, it's no secret, Devacurl is expensive. I was able to get this with a 20% off coupon from Ulta, but this is the MSRP, and yeah, bitch, that is a lot of money for a hair product. Personally, I'm more willing to spend a lot of coin on skincare or makeup because I feel like I'm getting more mileage out of it. It'll last me longer. Hair products are literally going down the drain, so I'm much more loath to spend a lot of money on most of my hair care. Particularly since there are so many raw ingredients that are great for my hair that don't cost a lot. You know, I can buy things very inexpensively, coconut oil, honey, olive oil, whatever. I can kind of whip up my own things on the low and still have very high quality ingredients in there. Like such as the ingredients in this, which is my homemade prepoo detangler. I have done 2 videos on this. First, the one where I came up with the recipe, was utterly shocked by how quickly I was able to detangle my hair. And this has been a part of my life ever since. Now, I don't use this every single time I need to wash and detangle my hair because sometimes I don't need it. Sometimes my hair is actually pretty cooperative ever since I cut off a bunch of really disrespectful ends back in January. But I still do rely on this quite a bit if my hair is very tangled and I just don't want to spend 3 days detangling it. I will link the video I did recently where I shared my updated recipe for my homemade detangler in case you would like to see exactly what all is in here, which would probably be pretty pertinent because if you actually care about the results of this head-to-head, then you would want to know what's in here. Moving on. I use these head-to-head as this almost goes flying out of my hand. I split my hair down the middle and use the Wash Day Wonder on one side and my homemade detangler on the other. And I even timed how long it took me to detangle each side of my head. The result? Inconclusive. It's not really inconclusive. The result was quite interesting because it took me the same amount of time to detangle both sides. Each side took me 15 minutes to detangle, which I can't even believe because 15 minutes to detangle half my hair is such an improvement from what it used to be. It used to take me 3 hours to detangle my hair. I managed to get that down to an hour and a half. And then on a good day when I would use this, it would take me 30 to 45 minutes. This is all pre-January haircut. Now I am able to detangle my hair a lot more quickly, but I was still impressed with how both of these work since I don't use this all that often anymore because my hair detangles pretty quickly, like I said. But I was able to get my whole head done in half an hour, and they took about the same time, so no one won in that category. In the end, I think that these worked equally well for me because they took equal amounts of time for me to detangle my hair, which I was very, very surprised to see. When I first put this in my hair, I was really impressed by the amount of slip it has. It definitely feels like it has marshmallow root or slippery elm or something in here. Let me take a look. Actually, I have not looked at these ingredients in a moment. I actually am not seeing marshmallow root or anything that jumps out to me as a known super slippy ingredient, but it's definitely got that, this is going to sound bad, but it's got that kind of mucusy kind of texture. It does kind of feel a little bit like snot when you're putting it in your hair, but once it's in there, you're grateful for the snot. I was also impressed with how little I needed of this because I was under the impression that a bottle this size would last me like 2 uses of detangling, and for half of my head, it's still full to here. So I imagine if I used it for a full-on detangling session and did my whole head, I would probably still be able to get a good, I don't know, 7, 8 uses out of this bottle, maybe even more. It's tough to say. This is one of the few products where the phrase "a little bit goes a long way" is actually true, and I was very happy about that. Another pro about this is that you can just grab it and go. With the DIY version, or with any DIY version of anything, you have to make it yourself, and that takes a little bit more time and planning, not to mention gathering of ingredients. You know, you might have to get some things from one store and some things from another store. You might even have to order certain things online, depending. If that's not worth it to you, the high price tag of a product like this may actually be the better value. The benefit of the DIY version is, of course, the fact that you can save a lot of money. You know, anytime you DIY something, pretty much, you're going to save money. There's also the aspect of customization, where you can cater the ingredients and the mixture to your preferences. Of course, you could add things to this and mix it up to customize it as well, but at that point, you're DIYing anyway, because once you're mixing things up, you're already DIYing. So that's, all right, let's move on. One strike against this versus my homemade detangler is just that it doesn't feel super nourishing. This I feel like I could use as a deep conditioner if I even wanted to, and just let it marinate on my hair for 30 minutes or something. This definitely feels like it does one job and one job only, which is fine because that's all it claims to do. It only claims to be a detangler. This is way more nourishing and multifunctional in my opinion, so this one definitely has the edge in that respect. This also wins in, again, the cost-effective category, because over time, it saves you so much money to just whip something up like this using a cheapy conditioner. I use a conditioner that costs only about $4, and I get several uses out of that entire bottle when I mix it with other very inexpensive ingredients like coconut oil, coconut cream, vinegar, and some essential oils. I mean, it is very, very inexpensive comparatively to this. So not only is it kind of doing more for my hair in terms of giving it some nice emollients and, moisturizing, softening, it's detangling, which is the only thing this does for way more money. Which brings me to the question of the video: what's the verdict? Buy or DIY? For me personally, DIY. I do enjoy this product, and I'm going to be very happy to continue using it throughout what's left. And honestly, I'm sad that it costs as much as it does, because it's a very good product. But I feel like I'm getting so much more out of the DIY version for less money. I can't necessarily justify this over this. What I really want to see is what's the tea on using this as the conditioner in this. My plan is to experiment with swapping out my Trader Joe's tea tree conditioner and using this as the conditioner in my DIY mix. I wonder if it'll be so quick to detangle using this mix with this that I'll actually travel backwards in time. Those are my thoughts on whether you should buy the Devacurl Wash Day Wonder Detangler or DIY your own detangler. Hopefully this was helpful in making a purchasing decision for you. There have not been a ton of reviews on this floating around the YouTubes. I don't think. I honestly am not sure. I haven't even done a search. I'm gonna level with you. In any event, I haven't seen this product talked about that much, but when I have seen it talked about, it's been pretty high praise, and I was just curious to see how it stacked up against my homemade detangler. Ultimately, they're both pretty great, and I do have to kind of pat myself on the back a little bit for coming up with a mix which is just about as good as this, because this is pretty great. Thanks for hanging out with me for this, our first 4C Friday of Vlogmas 2018. Be sure to let me know, by the way, if I should film my experimentations with using that Wash Day Wonder in my prepoo mix. I'm assuming you guys would want to see that, but if no one cares, I'm not going to waste my time filming it. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow for another video. Bye-bye.
That's some nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.